So, Tom, imagine this, right? You're a radio producer in Manchester. You're looking after some fresh-faced guys, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant. But you're committed, pushing the buttons, you're on the sound deck, you're behind the scenes.
You're doing your job.
You're doing your job. But Ricky, he takes a shine to you. Suddenly you kind of become the off-screen butt of the jokes. But he thinks you've got comic potential. And before you know it, you're in front of the mic.
Plot twist.
I know, indeed. And not only that, you then become part of one of the world's biggest podcasts.
Wow.
Your playground catchphrases, there are memes about you, the lot. I mean, that's just the first plot twist in this guy's history. Karl Pilkington.
Oh, I love Karl Pilkington.
We know, Tom. I think superfan is
everyone
an
knows.
Understatement.
A little bit, maybe. But he's just incredible. He started out with XFM, working with Ricky and Steve, does the podcast, then everyone knows him now from An Idiot Abroad and The Moaning of Life. And now he's a lead actor from Sick of It.
Exactly, and season 2 of Sick of It is on Now TV.
Oh, I love this series.
I mean,
so
it's
good.
Great. Not only does Karl play a version of himself as the main character, he's also a personification of his inner voice.
2 leads.
2 lead characters, from a guy who went from behind the mic to in front of it to now 2 leads.
Incredible.
Incredible. So needless to say, we were pretty excited about meeting Karl.
Very excited.
So not only were you nervous because, you're number one fan, and he did make a comment about feeling safer with me sat between the two of you, but this is also the first time, we've interviewed someone for the podcast.
First time
really
together.
Exciting.
It's a big deal. Talk about being in at the deep end. Karl Pilkington. And Fran, you said I was nervous. I have never, ever seen you so quiet before.
I've never seen myself so quiet, to be honest with you. I don't think Karl was as nervous as us, though, was he?
Probably not, no.
I mean, he was just chomping on an egg mayo sandwich beforehand, which I feel really put me at ease.
And just biscuits.
If someone's chomping on an egg mayo sandwich, you know that they're pretty unfazed by the situation.
I've done it before.
Well, let's get stuck into it. Karl Pilkington on the Plot Twist podcast.
Bring it on. So, Karl, we were saying obviously off air that we've met before, although I'm not sure you remember. But
no,
I think
I don't, and I don't know what the protocol is in this industry. A lot of people say you're meant to sort of go, "Oh yeah," but I just think that's lying is the worst thing you can do because you're just digging a bigger hole. So you're better off just from the outset. It was the screening, wasn't it, that you were at? You said,
yeah, the first series.
Well,
of
my
Sick of
head
It.
at screenings, honestly, I'm terrified. I'm nervous. It's not my environment that I'm happy in. So don't take it the wrong way that I don't remember you. But there was quite a lot of people there. And in this industry, there's a lot of people hanging around who go, I don't know what you do.
You were probably having that moment at the bar, that slight bit of peace.
I don't even remember having time to be at a bar. This was after it.
This was after the screening, so we've seen episodes 1 and 2.
I do remember it now. So it's in that other room.
But there was a few people sort of lurking around. I was like, I'm a huge fan of your previous work.
You were with someone.
I was with 2 girls, 2 influencers, yeah.
You're doing a good job of pretending.
Slightly no, I've just remembered then.
I'm quite sad that we captured Karl remembering this interaction because I really enjoyed it previously when it was just...
He doesn't remember.
Absolutely no recollection.
It's the story of my life.
It blocked it out because obviously it wasn't important to my brain. It wasn't a big highlight of my life, and it's gone. But it's interesting how the brain still remembered it when you explained it a bit more and a bit more and a bit more.
The visual cues reminded you of being in the situation.
Yeah, it's really weird, that.
I think Tom was probably having one of those moments where he forgot that you could see him, so he was just staring at you.
Yeah.
I just think the whole famous thing is ridiculous, and I'm not comfortable even you being a fan, in a way.
Have you ever been starstruck?
Do you know, I haven't. It's sad, isn't it? But I think what it is because some people would think I'm famous, and I realise how unimportant I am, how sort of useless, and how I fell into this by accident, and how the industry is just stupid. So it makes me realise that it's all just daft.
That they're just the same sort of person that you are.
Yeah.
And therefore there's nothing to be intimidated
There's nothing
by.
to be, that's it. And then there's the other thing of if you meet someone who you like and then they're not that nice and you go, oh, that's that ruin then. I almost want to treat people who I like as a cartoon. You know what I mean? You're not meant to ever meet them. They're these people who live in the telly.
Fictional character that stays fictional.
Yeah. There's no need.
Well, Tom was admiring from afar. I think that was...
I suppose I was, yeah. But it's a lesson also not how to approach... Don't approach a celebrity like that.
No, but
Not
listen, take it the good way that I didn't remember you, but you didn't do anything bad, and I didn't think, oh, he's weird either.
True.
I had no memory.
There's still time.
Really. Yeah, no,
There's still time.
There's a lot of time.
So as we said, our podcast is called Plot Twist. So we're looking at talking about unexpected twists and turns that occur on or off screen. But I suppose the most obvious place to start is, what's your favourite sort of plot twist that you've seen in a movie or a box set, or do you have one that particularly stands out sort of in your mind as the most memorable?
Do you know, I shouldn't be on this because I don't watch that much telly.
Do you not?
No, and I think if I did, I probably wouldn't have had a go at making telly.
Well, because you've been like intimidated by it, maybe.
Yeah, and it's weird how now, I'd say since I've been doing this, I've watched a bit more, and now I do feel more intimidated because I'm aware of how good some of it is.
Is it almost like an open audition versus a closed one?
Yeah.
When you don't know who else is
Yeah, you're
auditioning.
right. Yeah, that's exactly what.
But what
it's
makes
like.
you different to anybody else in that sense?
What are you saying? Are you having a go?
No, not at all. No, but it's in
What you think everybody's like that, or
But why shouldn't you go onto a set and feel like, well, I'm no different to you. I can do this.
because most people have had like training and they can do it. Like, I can't ever imagine working on something that I'm not involved in. I don't think anyone's going to be going, Pilkingtons, who we need to get his agent on. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Everything's always been because I'm involved in it. And maybe, to be honest, I'm a bit of a control freak, so I don't know how I'd take it if, Spielberg or whoever said, get Karl in. I'd probably talk myself out of it before anyone's turned the camera on. I'm not confident. That's what's weird, in a way, when you were talking about being in that bar and going, oh, God, he's coming over. Oh, my God, he's coming over. Do you get that thing where you can't...
Uncanny
I didn't actually know,
resemblance.
because it all happened very quickly. And
Wasn't that special a moment then?
No, because I'd been stood there for a while, and actually somebody else came to approach you,
Right.
and you said, no, I've seen this guy. He clearly wants to have a chat, and
Right,
you came
I
over,
came
and,
over.
and I just said, I'm Tom from Now TV, and we
said,
had a
"Wow."
chat. Yeah.
Um,
I also said to you that Sick of It gets better when I watched it again, and you thought I said that because I was with two girls and I was trying to show off.
Which sounds like something that you would do, to be fair.
No, but it's
Pretty
true.
accurate.
It's true, because I think seeing it the second time around, actually getting used to the premise, because it is so different to everything else you've
yeah,
done.
well, that's the biggest battle I had, and it's eating away at me all the time. Does me head in. But what was I about to say? The nervousness, feeling like I shouldn't be in it. And I was wondering, I bet I was more nervous in that room that night when you met me than you were about anything else. Most people who get into this sort of work are probably from a certain background, a certain confidence. They just made for it more.
More of
They've
an
thought
extrovert.
it through more. They've thought it's a dream. They're chasing it. Whereas all this is, I fell into it, didn't I, by accident. So I'm always a bit kind of, what are people going to think of this? And everybody knows I'm blagging it.
Was there any
Everyone
part
knows
of
I'm
you
blagging it.
before that I looked ahead and thought, actually, I would like to do this,
No.
like years and years ago?
I mean, I enjoyed watching the odd film and what have you, and I did a few things at school, public speaking and a bit of a talent show thing, but it wasn't kind of like, do you know when people talk about it and they came off stage and they go, this is it, I've found my destiny, or all that. I was like, thank God that's over.
You
You
say
know, I
everything
hated it.
happened by accident almost. You kind of fell into each of the
Definitely.
the paths.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Apart from the radio bit, that was the aim. I wanted to get on radio. And that was, when I think back about that, I think that was because when you're on the radio, you can just empty your head, say what's going on in your head. No one's there to sort of question you. We don't want a phone in. You know what I mean? It was just me in a room at 2 a.m, playing the odd song and just waffling on about stuff without someone saying, shut up. So, in a way, that was easy for me because no one was there. Whereas in front of an audience, like I say, doing a Q&A, that thing you went to, anyone who doesn't know what it is, but, you know, before something goes out on the telly, they have an event, they have a screening, they put out 2 episodes, and then you have to come out after, and everyone does this awkward clap, and then you sit down, and you kind of think, oh, I wonder how many are here because it's the job to be here. I'm sure they've got better things to be doing. Could be at home. They've got family to look at. And here I am holding them back, watching something they probably hate. And I just feel like just like, let's get this over and done with because I know you all just want to go home.
But it's really interesting how you talk there about you're about to walk out on stage and you're thinking to yourself, why are they here? They've probably got somewhere else to be. That's really similar to obviously this character that you've created.
Well, it's me.
That talks down the you character. So how do you sort of break apart those two? Or was it based on you and your own
It's based on me and my own worries and thoughts and, wanting to be better. I mean, that's what's sick of it is. It's a relationship between me and the voice in my head. And the voice in your head, it's there all the time. And it's not always your mate, is it? It's like telling you you're not good enough. Why are you bothering? Doubting everything you do and all that. So that's what it's about. That's why it's not a fun. I don't think it's funny anyway. I just think it's I hope people liked it because they might relate to that. The constant battle.
Because it's billed as a comedy drama, but it's not really a comedy drama, is it?
I don't know. You see all these categories of telly at the minute. I just go, I don't know what a lot of these mean.
I think what it is from the comedy perspective is everyone has that voice inside their own head that they battle day to day. The notion that we've got this brain that talks against us when actually it's our own muscle is quite bizarre. So I think that's probably where the comedy piece comes from.
The comedy is the relatability, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that it's relatable versus kind of explicit laugh out loud humour.
That's what I'm after. I think jokes. I don't really do comedy stuff, and it's weird because people always. Just before I did another podcast, and someone at the start did the thing of, the lead up. Karl Pilkington is a TV presenter, podcaster, author, comedian, and I was like, whoa, hang on, who told you that? Because I'm not that, and it's weird how just because I've done some stuff with Ricky and Steve, who are comedians, they go, well, you're one of them.
Put in the same bracket.
It's just so funny, isn't it? How people just go, well, you're one of them because you're with them. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I'm not. I've never classed myself as funny. I know I have a lot of thoughts, and I put them out there, and then people sort of go, "Oh, that's funny. I've had that thought."
But it's that relatability piece, isn't it? Yeah.
And I prefer that. I think that's better than anything. That's important in life, isn't it? Relatability. That's how you get on with people to relate.
Get by.
Yeah. If you have a mate who's constantly telling jokes, after a while you go, "Shut up." It's annoying.
I really enjoy your perspective on things where you kind of state something that's so incredibly obvious, but actually people don't talk about that. Like I was listening to something where you were saying, why is the alphabet in the order that it's in?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not actually a question that I've ever heard someone ask before, but actually it's such a glaringly obvious question.
Well, it seemed like such an important thing at school. Like they're telling you to know this thing in this order. And it's like, well, before you tell me what order it's in, sometimes, if you know why it's in that order, it helps you remember it.
Yeah.
So why have we started with A? Who's decided? And the teacher was just like, just learn it. And I get it. Honestly, I do get it. When you've got a classroom of 35 kids and then someone's going, why is it in that order? I get now. I look back on that and go, I get why she got annoyed with me. But at the time, it's a question.
But equally, she didn't answer it.
She didn't answer it. And probably because she didn't know, and I still don't know.
I don't still know, and I would really quite like to find out the answer.
But the interesting thing is, now with technology, you don't need that order anymore, do you? Because you just search. You type it in, whatever you want, and it finds it. You don't go...
I wonder if
you were that way inclined as a kid. Like
what, questioning?
Just questioning things.
Yeah, but still now, and Suzanne, my girlfriend, has always said that is why you're a bit daft, because you're not learning what they're trying to teach you. You're questioning what they're trying to teach you, and sometimes you shouldn't do that. You should just listen and take the information and learn what they're telling you. Why are you constantly going, why? But I asked her why, because I think it would help me.
Yeah, help you digest it. If you understand how you've got there,
yes,
then you'll learn it. Do you think because everything is so accessible to us that we perhaps don't use our brains to retrieve things like information? So actually our brains have become potentially more redundant to have moments of just...
They are redundant.
Talking to ourselves.
I don't know if we've just gone off the rails with what life's about and how working stuff out and learning by your mistakes. You need... I mean, obviously there's serious things like don't lick the brown live wire. That isn't something you can learn,
That's not a test and learn,
but just everything else, especially because the world changes. So the world, from an old person's perspective, is different anyway, because they've lived there and been through a lot and things were different for them. So you just learn as you go along. And I just wonder how much of that is still allowed, or how much is being so controlled by mums and dads of, don't let them see that, that'll upset them. You need to be upset. That's part of life. And you learn how to get over those problems by having to face them. If you're not dropped in them, it doesn't mean they're not there.
Yeah.
It's a weird... is this meant to be like a
I was going to say
light-hearted chat?
It can be whatever you want it to be, Karl.
I was just engrossed there. I was really like...
and I do struggle putting into words what my brain's trying to say, but...
in a way, you've applied those learnings to Sick of It.
Yeah, I have. And the confusion, and there'll be some people going, I don't know what he's going on about. Some people will say, I haven't got a voice in my head. And maybe they haven't, maybe mine's a bit louder. But what the beauty of today is, everything's on demand, isn't it? So when you put a programme out, it's kind of there forever. And hopefully the people who get it will, when I say get it, that's not being sort of snobby, going, if you don't like it, then you don't get it. You might not like it. But the people who sort of go, I'm like that, I can relate to what's going on there. It's nice in this day and age that it isn't just on a Thursday night and then it's gone. This stuff hangs around forever. And I think that's the other reason when I was saying to you about, I'm not that interested in funny stuff. I think funny stuff dates. You know what I mean? You watch some funny stuff from the 70s and you go, Jesus, this isn't funny. Whereas I think problems in the brain are similar as time goes.
Yeah, whenever it's timeless. Yeah.
So it is a bit more timeless, and we're living more in a timeless time where stuff is around for longer. So I think relatability and all that.
But to go back to the kind of, you accidentally fell into it and acting wasn't kind of the childhood ambition. Obviously you co-wrote Sick of It. How did you go from being, acting's not really for me, I find it a bit intimidating, to I'm actually going to be the lead character and the mind of the lead character?
The two lead characters, right?
The two lead characters, essentially. From the, I don't really want to be on the screen, to actually I'll be on it and I'll be there twice. Yeah,
at the beginning, I was like, no, don't want to be on it. I'll just write it with Richard. And I'm trying to picture it, because I remember we were writing in a room about the same size as this, but with no windows, because I get easily distracted. And the way I work is I always like to put everything out on the table and say, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, this is going to be rubbish, it might not work, we might have to bin it. Just so I'm putting out all my worries on the table, and then whoever I'm sat in that room with doing this thing, they know that that's my starting point. And if you want to carry this on, this is now your responsibility, because I've just told you that I'm rubbish at all this. So if you don't walk out of the room, that's what you're getting involved in. But he's known me a long time, Richard. He was involved in the travel stuff from day dot. Day dot. So I think I said something. Part of the script, I said something, and he said, "Oh, that's such a you thing, that, saying that. I can't imagine someone else saying that."
You're just planting the seeds.
And I was like, they'll be able to say it, they're actors. You give them the words, they do it. That's what an actor is. They'll do it. But I think at that point, I knew that it's like, oh, he hasn't let go yet. He hasn't let go that I might not want to be in this. And we kept going and going. And with me, I know I need time. I'm not an impulse type person. I really overthink everything to the point of it's not healthy. You know, that voice in my head can talk me out of anything, and it's down to someone else to sort of shut it up.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But if there's not someone there pushing me, which in the past has been either my girlfriend or like mates, or, you know, Ricky and Steve pushing me into stuff, Richard in this. But it's weird, because like you say, it went from definitely not to suddenly I was doing it, and it was really crafty. I tell you what,
from
I think
Richard, or was it just a process there?
I think from Richard, but I think what it was, he said, technically, because I'm in this thing twice, he said we're doing a day or two practice, just technically. But I wonder if a bit of him was also doing that to see if I just go, I can't do this. I might actually have a go and then balls it up, and he'd go, actually, you're right, you can't do it. So I think, as well as being a technical run through, it was also a run through for me to see if I can do this, because it's a different ball game, sort of acting. And when I say acting, it is me. You know, I only tap into the emotions and that I have in my life. I'm not. If someone said cry, you know, I'm not a crier, really.
You're good at the laughing though in series 2. That was give Joaquin Phoenix run for his money.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
You said that was quite a plot twist, really, because you'd never really seen Karl in that capacity.
The beginning bit of episode 1, I've never seen you smile so much.
And I remember, Richard, something I don't do is like rehearsals. You know, like some things do workshops and
table reads.
All that. I don't do any of that, because all that's going to happen is I'm going to go, it's rubbish, rip it up. So we have to like go, that's it, and then I'm changing it anyway, right up till they go action. I've been scraping, you know, scratching things off the paper, putting something else on there, changing. So there's no point sat in a room going through it all. And Richard didn't know whether I'd be able to sort of laugh. He's going, I've never heard you laugh, though. And I'm going, I'll do it. When it comes, I'll do it. I'm not going to do it for you now. And the same, there was a few scenes like that where he's kind of like, I don't know. You know,
when you're doing it in your sleep, though, in the series, that was really good. That was really, really good.
I do have to ask.
I was surprised.
For anyone who's not seen the series, there's a dream sequence where your face is superimposed on a baby's body in a pram, and you're being tickled by Ruby, the love interest. Yeah. And I just wonder, you know, my interpretation of that was, in his dreams, she's his happy place. Yeah. Was that the right thing? I didn't know if there was a deeper meaning there.
No, it's that it was that, like I say, spoiler, if you haven't seen it, turn this off.
Yeah, but, this is not the podcast for you.
Yeah, but no, it's the meaning was that I liked her, but I didn't know it. See, in the episode before, she'd shown a bit of care when I found a lump on my bollocks. She was the one who I went to, because it's like, well, she's a carer, and she might know if I should worry about this or what to do. And I've got no one else in my life showing me care. She showed a bit of interest. She was worried about me. She was checking up on me. And then that, without realising, I'm sort of like, even though at the start of the series I don't like her, I see her as the enemy, suddenly it's like there's someone in my life here who's caring for me. And that got into my dream. And then that's her. Like say I'm a baby, she's picking up the baby, she's showing care to the baby. It's me. As a baby, you're at your most sort of, that's when you need someone the most.
Vulnerable. Yeah.
So that's where the idea came from, that sort of.
I mean, it was extremely surreal, but I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird. I tell you what's weird. Someone said, why is it? Because in series 1, there was a episode with a baby. Episode 2, when I'm like,
was it the
sperm test and that?
Yeah, there was like a battery operated one of those practice.
Sort of trial things. And someone was like, and that scene was a baby in a toilet, and they were like, what is it with you and babies in toilets? And it's like, I don't know, but it's coming from somewhere. It's weird, because when I come up with these stories, and you know, they do all come from a place, you know, a worry, a stress. It's funny how a lot of feedback when it first came out from people was, I just preferred seeing you. You know, not a story. I just want to see you. And it's like, well, this is more revealing than any of the other stuff, because it's all come out of my head and it's my worries. Every one of these little episodes about feeling useless or could I have done better and going back and trying to put a wrong right and all that. It's all coming from me. So if you like me, then you should like this. But it just seems like anything you've got to follow, rather than the travel stuff where you can dip in and out and just see me dancing about. It's easy. That's easy telly for people. You can watch that with one eye on it and the other hand messing about with the phone and another. You know, it's that sort of telly. But whereas this is, you've got to follow it. But even with those, they kind of put you in a situation where you were shown at your most uncomfortable, right? So you only saw one side of you. You didn't actually see the other bits. And there was times when we were away filming when I enjoyed something, and whoever was in charge of that trip would go, oh, we didn't think you'd like it. And I go, yeah, it's good. But they never show that, because it's not as interesting as seeing someone having a bit of a breakdown. You know, it's like I'm a Celebrity, innit? You know, they show you the arguments and the stress. That's the telly, innit? So people sort of go, oh yeah, are you really like that? You're constantly sort of moaning. It's like, no, I'm a heck. You know, that's a part of me.
Edited down
It's
version.
edited down. It's a 9-day trip, and you're watching 45 minutes of it. And it's like, why haven't you worked that out?
Wow, so that was Karl Pilkington talking about his experiences on An Idiot Abroad. Fran, can you imagine what a 45-minute edit would look like of you over 9 days? I would love to see that.
I truly dread to think. I mean, you'd get some real nuggets of the great times, but... Oof,
Oh, you get the bad.
bad times.
And that's making the edit.
As a reality enthusiast, I would love to tune into it, just not be the centre of it, to be honest with you.
Oh, I'd leave the edit on that for sure.
But I mean, moving on, like, honestly, how was that for you meeting him? Because I personally found it quite surreal going into, because I really expected that what I'd seen on screen was kind of Karl Pilkington, the character. But then in real life, it's kind of like, where does that start and end?
I don't know if he is a character, because like on one of these shows you kind of see a version of Karl, don't you? And you kind of see that in Sick of It as well. He was kind of this regular guy, but the more the interview went on, you kind of saw how his mind works. And he's actually a really deep, considered thinker, isn't he?
Yeah, he was really truthful with us with some of the stuff that he was
so
talking about.
Honest. Yeah, really
and you
honest.
can see how he got to the premise of Sick of It, because actually you can see when he's thinking that internal voice going.
Yeah.
Like, I would just love to see his actual inner voice sat there to understand what's going on inside his mind.
He almost was.
I know he almost was. He did kind of let us in a little bit. A few times he kind of let out what he was thinking. But I just thought it was a truly sort of fascinating interview, and a side of him that I didn't really see before as a viewer of kind of the programmes that he's been in.
And how he plays himself down as well. He's so sort of self-depreciative.
The whole premise of, I'm not really an actor, or if I was good at this, you know, but actually he's doing it, he's living it, and he is good at it, but he can't kind of see that in front of him. But I mean, needless to say, some of the best nuggets were yet to come.
Oh, they were, for sure. Yeah.
So let's get back to it.
Our interview with the one and only Karl Pilkington.
Is it fair to say you cared about this more than other projects?
Yeah, just because, you know, there's room and space to care for it. You know, if you go back, you know, to radio's very throwaway. What happens, it's gone. You leave the studio, you can't go back, change it, that's it. Podcast, it was kind of, we did that because Ricky and Steve were busy, didn't have time for making a better one or anything. It was like, we've got an hour, let's go in a room and chat. Again, that was it. And Ricky said that's what's exciting about it. What you get is what you get. Whereas a bit of me was always, these are rubbish. These are really, can't we do it again? He's going, it's great. What's up with you? I'm going, I don't like it. And then the travel stuff, again, you know, if you're flying to the other side of the world, you know, you can't get back and say, let's go back and like do some better stuff.
It's very finite.
It is what it is. Whereas with the scripted thing, there's so much time to sit and ponder. Every little bit of everything that's in Sick of It, I don't know if people notice, but everything that happens, every little scene, it's all linked to the theme of the episode in some way. It might not seem it, but it is. And I really enjoyed that. It was like doing a jigsaw, and it felt like proper telly. You know, this is like, we're making something proper here. Whereas the other stuff has always been, like I said, throwaway. It's kind of very, you know, you watch it for a bit, you never think about it again. You're not meant to watch and then turn it off at the end and think, like, what was he saying there? So it was good to have that time to sit and think. And another way, a bit of me didn't enjoy it because it's very easy just to go, let's start again.
It's an overthinker's nightmare, because you can keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and tweaking.
Yeah, which isn't good for anyone. It's like people have plastic surgery, innit? And they go, my eyes look good now. Oh, but look at my nose.
They keep going.
Yeah,
keep going.
just
No
changes.
one ever just has a little bit and then leaves it. It's you know, you mess, you fiddle. That's what you do, innit, as a human. Messing about all the time.
But did you always know that the same person was going to play the inner voice? Or did you ever toy with the idea that actually sometimes the inner voice feels like someone who's not you?
I don't think...
Would you have
So
been...
like a totally different actor, which would have been a lot easier. But I think what we wanted to make sure is, say if someone just dipped in.
Yeah, it's less easy to digest.
Yeah,
when it's
like,
different.
oh, it's him, it's in his head. Like even a bit of detail. The hat thing is, my inner self in Sick of It has got a woolly hat on. Now, a bit of that is to help the audience to know that, oh, that's the inner self. Just so as you continue watching it, you always know which one's the voice in my head. But another bit of it for me was the fact that was like a little insecurity. Even in my head, I don't want to see myself as being bald.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, we never used it in a storyline or anything, but it was kind of that's how I'd want to see myself. I don't want to see it.
So if you were talking to yourself...
Put a hat on.
Put a hat on.
Yeah. I could have gone for a wig. I could have gone for a wig.
Yeah, I mean, Tom definitely understands.
Yeah.
Do you hate
that difficulty?
We did some testing over Christmas for the podcast, and we did about 40 minutes. The shiny bald head got mentioned about 4 times.
But Tom,
So why?
I think because
Why?
it's one of Tom's insecurities, he puts it on the table and mocks himself. So I think it's
that's
fair
what you
game
do.
for
you
other people
you
to...
mention it first.
Yeah.
But then people take advantage of that. It's like the elephant in the room. Oh, it's been mentioned. Oh, let's take
all
it down now.
pile on.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Bundle.
Yeah, I know, but it's... What can you do?
Hair transplant.
Yeah, have you thought about it?
Not really. I'm quite comfortable with it, actually. I thought
I think you just need to
when it
own
first
it.
started happening, I was like, oh, I'm going to look absolutely terrible. But now you just get used to it.
It is that, what did you just say, owning it?
You should just own it, yeah.
It is that. I liked having hair, and there was one of the travel shows when they did a hair thing in some country called I can't remember. They didn't call it a wig, but it was something that was glued to your head, so it was permanent for 6 months of the year.
Yeah.
Like you can wash it. And I was like, oh, this is good.
You look dead happy with that.
I know, I really was. I was like, it took years off me. But you just have to own it. It's like people with false legs, isn't it? They wear shorts a lot. You see the metal legs. They don't wear long trousers. They go, no, I'm gonna own this. I want people to know I've got false legs. And it's that. Be proud of it. But it's bad in rooms like this, isn't it? Because I can see the shine on yours.
I can see the shine on yours.
It's blinding.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's weird how, it's weird. When there's no shame in a way. You do TV programmes and chat shows and stuff. And yet I might be talking. It happened the other day. I was on this morning with Philip and Holly, and we're having a discussion about something. And someone just comes in and starts colouring in my head. Just like they paint in a room. Do you know what I mean? Just
Anti-shine.
slapping it on, yeah.
One of the things I did want to ask was playing Dougie and Derek. Like, how much of an influence was that leading into Sick of It? Did that help that you'd had a little bit of that experience?
Just eating a biscuit.
I was going to go with the biscuit question, would have been very relevant for right now, but...
Dougie. Yeah, I didn't like it. I remember being out with Ricky and he said, do you want to be in it? I was like, oh, I don't know about that. And he said, no, just in the background. I'll just put you in the background, and now and again you get the odd line. And I was like, yeah, all right. And then it just sort of snowballed, and he was saying, oh, do a bit here and come over in this scene, do a bit in this, do a bit in that. And it was so different to what I'd been doing. And like I've been saying to you, I need time. I need time to get used to ideas and what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I just felt really overwhelmed. Just like, I can't do this. And what was weird in that, there's a lot of characters in it. So they'd call you up and you'd have to be on set for, I don't know, 6 a.m. And then I'd have that stupid wig put on. And then I'd be sent to like a trailer, and I'd sit in there worried. And the longer it went on, the more it sort of plays up, and suddenly it's like 11 o'clock. It's like, I've been here since 6. What is going on? It's like, is there a camera in this thing, and this is the test to see, almost like a police cell or something, where that's what they do. They keep you in there, so you start like stressing out and what have you. I know that I've been in police cells and stuff, but it's like mind games. So it wasn't for me, and that, in a way, that it just scared the hell out of me, especially because like there's people in it who are actors, like Kerry and
David
Holly.
Earl. Yeah.
David was like me. David was in the same boat as me. We were both sat there going, what is everyone thinking when we're just winging this and messing about? And especially with some older, if there was older cast in there and proper actors.
But you had some really intense scenes. The daughter that took her mother's ring. He properly went in on her. But
I remember saying to Ricky, I can't do this. I can't do this one. This is like proper. And he went, well, look, just have a go at it. And if it doesn't work, then we'll get round the story another way. But just give it a go. And I think part of you see me sort of a bit shaky and a bit angry. And it's because I'm actually scared. That sort of adrenaline in me being like, I don't know if I can do this. But then the woman who was playing the one who's getting the ring. She's a proper actor. She's in like This Country and all that. And I think she came over and sort of said, that was really good. You sort of made me forget my lines because you were like having a go at me. Yeah. And I was like, oh, sorry. And she's like, no, that was good. That's what you should do. So I was like, oh, all right then. But I didn't sort of do that and go, I've cracked it. I'm Christian Bale. Do you know what I mean? I just went, I got away with it. I don't know where that came
so
from.
Good. You
but
can't
I got
say
away
that.
with it. No, but that's... And I wish, honestly, I really wish I could, at some point, get the confidence. I don't know how much stuff I've got to do before I go, actually, maybe I'm not bad.
Wait, I love that you talk about people as actual actors.
Yeah,
I was opposite an actual actor, and I was just there.
No, because I
winging
think,
it.
you know, because you've got to give actors respect. And, you know, the ones who do it, proper acting, when you can just, you can be someone else. And I don't think I'll ever get to that. You can't wing that. Crying on demand and being...
doing an accent.
Doing an accent. That
just,
for me.
On the CV for when Spielberg calls, that'll be the two absolute no-goes. They can't cry and they can't be...
But saying that, but I'd say, listen, I'm a real person and I'm not much of a crier. I just go a bit quiet.
Well, things that don't make you cry. Biscuits.
So season 2, we obviously open with you chomping away on a packet of ginger nuts.
Yeah.
Which obviously I can hugely identify with. Real biscuit lover.
Biscuit, I love biscuits. And again,
We've seen you eat 3 actually in this one recording, which was... Again, you say that he's true to life to you. I feel I've really seen that.
But also in the series, it's about, you know, it is you talk about like emotional eating and stuff, don't they? Sometimes you turn to crappy foods and that if you're not happy. So that's kind of what that's about, even though it was also a reason just to have some biscuits on set.
Well, we played quite a fun game where we had to choose for each other what biscuit we would be if you took biscuit form as a character. So if you had to be a biscuit, what biscuit do you think you'd be?
What can you just tell me?
So I got a digestive.
So I thought Tom would be a digestive. So he's, you know, pleasing for the masses, you know, not particularly controversial.
True.
Maybe looks a little bit crumbly, but pretty sturdy.
I don't even know what that means.
Dunking in a cup.
You look crumbly.
You know, like, is he on the edge? Not quite sure, but actually he's pretty sturdy.
So I said you were custard cream, didn't I? Because once you've had a few, you've like, I've had enough of these.
Yeah, and he also said fancy to look at, but a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably true.
Right.
Yeah.
You see, and it's got to be one biscuit. I can't say, well, I'm an assorted. I'm a assorted collection.
An assorted.
Could be a special pack.
Just because
a Fox's assorted mix.
Are any of us the same person all the time? Do you know what I mean? So I might pick a biscuit today, but you phone me up tomorrow. I'm not saying you do, but you know, I'd have a. He probably would. Yeah, he wouldn't phone. He'd knock on the door.
No, he'd just be standing at the window looking in.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
So, but today, if it was a biscuit,
yes. Who are you? What biscuit are you today?
Probably something like I don't know what they're called, but I think Foxes make them, and they're kind of two ginger biscuits with a bit of cream in the middle. So I think I'm sort of nothing special to look at. It's a ginger biscuit. So what? It's ginger biscuit. But if people give me time and get to that squishy bit in the middle, they'll go, oh, actually, it's not what I thought.
There we go. That's also my favourite biscuit.
Nah.
And I'm not just saying that.
Oh, you just
I'm the
that,
one in the
of course
Fox's
you are.
assortment. I go straight for that.
Of course you say that, Fran.
Yeah, well, you know.
And that I would have said that
That's a good answer,
outside
then.
of this forum as well.
That's weird. So, but that's why sometimes you got to give someone time to think it
And
through.
you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, I think that says a lot about me. I think once people, because it does annoy me, that's one of the things when you're on the telly and all that. People always think they know you, they think, and they've made up their mind. And then once they get to know you, they go, actually, you're not that bad. I thought you'd be annoying or whatever. So that's a good biscuit as an example, that little treat. You can't really see. It's not a thick mid. You just think it's a ginger biscuit in the pack,
Just a normal, everyday biscuit.
It just looks ginger, and then you pick up, you go, oh, hello, there's two here. There's two. What's that? Sticking it together, and it's like a really top quality, creamy substance, isn't it?
Delish.
So, there you go.
Right, we've got another fun game. Another feature of Sick of It at the beginning was Would You Rather?
So for anyone who's not seen the series,
Oh, yeah,
you open up on your I was going to say date,
It's not a date.
but it's not a date.
Thinks it's a date.
Yeah. The
Where
audience would think it's a date.
We perceive that it's a date, and the lady in question, who is actually technically being interviewed to be a carer for your aunt, you play a game of Would You Rather?
Yeah, and the question was kind of to me auntie because she wanted to just do fun brain games. You know, that's what's good for old people, to get them thinking. So it was the What Would You Rather game.
So we thought it was a great opportunity to do a few What Would You Rathers.
Go on then, Fran, kick it off.
Go on.
So obviously it is the Plot Twist podcast, so the first one has to be around the notion of some classic plot twists that you might see in a film. So you're reading through a script, you're really on board with the character. Maybe it's Spielberg's giving you the call up. You're reading through and you suddenly encounter an unexpected twist for the character that you're in the lead for. So would you rather be eaten by a shark or slowly poisoned by a family member?
But there's a difference here. Hang on.
I appreciate that the narrative of that film is probably highly confusing, that both of those could be an option.
No, but it doesn't matter, does it? So basically, this is a film. It's not my real life.
This is the character that you're playing.
Right. So which would I prefer?
Yeah.
As the lead character to be killed off.
If I'm killed by a shark, then that means I've got to be in the sea. Right?
We'd
'Cause
hope so,
that's
yeah.
where they knock about, isn't it?
Well, very fancy,
Yeah.
Paul.
So, yeah, but the poisoning thing seems very relaxing, isn't it? It's obviously it's in a cup of tea or something. It's very easy. Whereas I know if you're doing a scene around water, it's a lot of faff. There's waterproof cameras. There's health and safety people there.
They're going to probably have to CGI in the shark.
There's going to be a lot of messing.
Are you a good swimmer?
Terrible
Another
swimmer.
problem.
So just on that level, now I don't care about the film, and if it was my film, and I'd be going, oh, but it's a bit dull, innit? It's a bit dull, the poisoning thing. We did a lot of scenes in Sick of It that meant it was hard work. The scene in the pedalo,
Yeah.
no shark involved. It was just a boat and water.
Purely on water.
And it's an absolute nightmare because a pedalo
Goes everywhere.
drifts.
Yeah.
And they're on this other big boat with a camera, and they're going, can you just wait there? And it's kind of like, not really, no. It floats. There's not a break. I'm moving about. You follow me. I've got no control of this. So just selfishly, thinking about the filming, I'd go for the poisoning.
And just on a
Is
side
that the
note,
right answer? Is that what
there's
you mean?
no right answer.
No right answer, yeah. Well,
I mean-
let's do a more generic one, shall we? So would you rather be reborn in the past or born again in the future?
Oh, it's so hard because the future seems scary, doesn't it?
It does.
I feel out of place now. You know what I mean? Nearly 50. I can't keep up with it. So the future will just be like mind-blowing, won't it? I think all the fun out of life will be gone and we'll just be sort of brains in jars.
Or the plot twist might be that everyone gets so bored of the technology that we actually
Go backwards.
Revert backwards.
Yeah.
Bit of a gamble, that. You've just made that up. Might not be the case.
No, I have. You could go into the future and it is crazy. There's no guarantees.
Skyscrapers everywhere.
I was always moaning about graveyards, sort of like, look at the amount of space taken up, but they might be the only bits left
Yeah.
for a walk, because you can't build on them. People go, you can't, it's sacred and all that. But so they might be where families go for picnics. You might be picnicking on top of dead bodies because that's the only bit of green land left. So,
I thought you would have said the past.
I know, but there's a little bit of me that's like the future. You want to look round the corner a bit, don't you? There's a bit that's like, how is all this going to end?
With the past, at least you're stepping into more of the known,
Yeah,
whereas the
but-
future's the unknown.
And I'm definitely deciding the year. So it's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
I don't just go past and then I end up in a time when there's no Nurofen. I've got a banging headache. Because it's things like that, innit? That's things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm answering this without being honest.
I
with
also
you.
feel like you're answering as though we're about to put you in a time portal machine and put you there.
I know, because isn't that's it, isn't it? It's a question, so you've got to think it through. And like, I don't want to walk out of here and go, oh, what have I done? No, sod it. I'm gonna go future.
Ooh.
Oh, adventurous.
Go for it.
Talk
Just
about
do it,
unexpected
Karl.
turns.
Yeah. We kind of know what's been, and I suppose it can't be that bad. I said the future was going to be bad, but there's good and bad at every time, isn't there? Every time you go back, you haven't told me what life I'm being born into. I could be like some king. You don't know. So I'm going to go, it's more exciting, the unknown. Go on. What year? 2050?
Oh, we haven't really
Oh, go beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
One last thing. As you know, we're a little bit new to this podcasting malarkey. And obviously you've got a bit of a previous. What sort of advice would you give?
Well, I just told you, I'm not giving out advice. You've got to learn
I was
your
about
own
to
way.
say, I knew you could ask. I thought,
Yeah.
just say he doesn't like to give advice.
I was going to say how we doing, but I'm
It's
scared
weird
for the
though, because
response.
you're working, this is for Now TV, isn't it?
It is.
So you've got to sort of maybe give out a certain sort of vibe
Yeah.
and all that. You've got to be a bit upbeat, you know what I mean? It's sort of a bit like watching Phil and Holly here, do you know what I mean?
That's a
Oh,
compliment.
that's a
You're keeping it going,
compliment.
you're
Yeah.
sort of upbeat and all that, whereas, so it's tricky. I was lucky that, you know, the three of us did our podcast and there was no one else involved. So we were allowed to just be us, which is the ultimate freedom, that, isn't it? Just
It's authentic then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you're doing all right. You've got your questions and we've managed it. I mean,
Reference
Don't know if
Holly and
anyone
Phil.
made it out the
It's
other
the
side.
biggest compliment in my career.
You know, which do you think of sort of all of the projects you've been in, all of the experiences to date, has been the most unexpected that you would never have foreseen coming?
all of it, from the moment I got onto radio, it's all been like, how did that happen? And the weird thing is, if you'd have said to me when I was a kid, like, this is what's going to happen, I would have been like, you are joking me, aren't you? I don't want to do that. The idea of it terrifies me. So it does amaze me when I think of keeping myself to myself, then suddenly it's like you're fronting a TV programme or whatever, or you've got to sit in front of a crowd at a screening and talk about what you're doing. It's mental because it's just not me. But there's a little bit of me that wishes, I sort of go, I wonder if life would have been pretty good if all this didn't happen. I wonder if I'd sort of be a bit happier inside.
So huge pressure in this industry.
I don't even want to be like sounding like that, like, oh, there's pressure in this, you know, it's hard work, this. Because it isn't compared to a lot of jobs. But it's just that you lose a little bit of normality. When you go somewhere, you know, the other day I was in Wickes just buying some softener, salt softener for the water softener thing. There was a lot of kerfuffle. And it's just like, look, I'm just normal. I'm just in there buying
buy my
this.
water
I'm just
softener.
buying water softener stuff. It's no big deal. And that, I don't like it. You can't be moody with people because it's part of the gig. But that's the bit when I go, oh, you know, when's this going to go away? It's weirder because I think if I was Tom Cruise, I don't think that would happen. I think people would be like, it's Tom Cruise. But nobody would probably go over. They'd go, it's Tom, you can't go over. It's Tom Cruise. Leave him. Whereas, oh, it's just Karl buying some water softener.
Really feel because of
He'll
the
love
characters
it.
you play that
He'll
you're...
love it. Well, it's
it's
me, innit?
relatable
So
and it's...
You go, I know what he's like, and even if he tells me to sod off or whatever, it's be funny, Karl told me so. But there is times when it's just like, oh, I don't know what you want from me. Do you know what I mean?
So really, if younger Karl was doing this now, the kind of narrative that your life has gone in would have been the plot twist version of the unexpected versus the expected.
So are you, what, like a sliding doors? Maybe I'd see myself. I'd be on that train being hassled and I see me in that other world looking quite relaxed and looking over and nodding my head at myself. Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have done it.
Could have gone one of two ways,
shouldn't have
and
done it.
this is the way that it went.
And he's just sat there quietly reading a book, quite happy with his coffee and a donut, and I'm sort of being mobbed or whatever. But I don't know. You can't. It is what it is. You can't moan about any of it, can you? And it's just that you always want everything, and you can't have it all, can you? There's a lesson.
Well, Karl, thank you for being on the Plot Twist podcast.
Is this the first one?
This will be the first episode, yeah.
Well, you know, it was all right, wasn't it?
It's been
It's been
great. I
fun.
feel we've learned a lot about the series, a lot about
We've
you.
chatted, about all sorts of stuff, ping-ponged about. It's always the best sort of chat. Some interesting bits, a lot of waffle.
We're good at the waffle.
You get rid of that. No, I thought it was all right. Cheers for having me.